We're here in Scituate today at the studio of Marj Bates, who's a glass artist and fiber artist. She's down on Cedar Point, right near the lighthouse, and the neighborhood is still a mess because they're cleaning up from the debris of the last storm. But inside Marj's studio, there's a lot of cool things going on. Everywhere you look, there's a feast for the eyes. Glass beads, jewelry, fabulous felt scarves, vests, and other garments. The first thing I asked Marj, though, was how she got her start, because I have to tell you, when I first met Marj, she was driving a tractor-trailer truck. A big truck, like a big tractor-trailer truck.
Like a big tractor-trailer truck.
And you're like 5 feet tall, right?
Yeah. I was
85 pounds.
a long-haul trucker. And I used to pick up beads at beadworks on Newbury Street in Boston, and I would bring them with me in the big truck. So when I wasn't driving, I would string beads, and I would do that for extra money. And one day I was at Beadworks, and there was an invitation to go to somebody's open studio. And so I made sure I was back in town that night, and I went up to Amesbury, Mass. To Christina Logan's studio, and I saw the melting glass, and I was hooked instantly. Magic.
Yeah.
So I got home and got rid of the truck and bought a torch. Just that simple.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed at me, just like you did. Everybody laughed at me and said, "Oh no, you're going to make beads for a living now." And I said, "Yes, I am." And I did.
In the beginning, Marj started making fairly simple glass beads, but it wasn't long before she started playing with color and design and swirls. Then she started adding flowers and precious metals to her beads, and she started a collection of glass knobs. Then they started looking like fish and other animals. She combined her beads to make necklaces and bracelets and other jewelry, and then she took up metal smithing, combining the beautiful glass beads with hammered silver and other mixed metals. But everything starts with melting the glass.
This is a torch, and this is gas. What you see here is gas, the gas that comes from the street. And you'll notice a couple things. Gas is really dirty, and it also isn't hot enough to melt the glass, so I have to add oxygen. I have these coated steel mandrels. Mandrel is a steel rod. It's heat resistant, so I'm not feeling heat on my hand. I dip it in a kiln wash. If I put glass on the metal rod without kiln wash, I would never be able to remove it. Melting the glass rod, I'm slowly turning the mandrel, and I'm being very careful to hold the mandrel straight. I'm cooling it a little bit out of the flame so I can have control, and now I'm putting the glass rod back into the flame to melt some more. So it's all about the heat, gravity, and so everything I make starts as a glass bead.
Marj uses special glass for her work. Most of it comes from Italy.
These really wonderful, smooth glass rods, specifically for lampwork artists, which is what we're called, and the people that were especially good at it were from the Isle of Murano in Italy. A lot of people like dots. So what I do is I want little dots, so I'm going to use little glass rods or thin pieces. So I pull these glass rods out to make it thin, and you see that?
Is that black?
That's black.
And black dots on a white bead.
Yep, black dots on a white bead. After I finish making the bead, I open the kiln, which is preset at $9.95, and I have the kiln programmed to bring the heat down evenly. It's just as critical how one cools glass as to how to one melt it. If you don't cool glass properly, it will crack. There's so much stress in it. There's a very clear and concise table to follow to cool glass.
Marj still melts glass, but now she's branched out into fiber, designing beautiful felt for scarves, shawls, and other garments.
It's actually wool fiber that you put onto the silk, correct?
Yes. And then I have to make the design and wet the design with hot soapy water and then manipulate the fibers into the silk so they lock into the silk so they'll never come out. And it's a very time sensitive. It took me 40 hours to make the shawl that I made.
A Boston Globe wedding photo shoot even combined several of Marj's beautiful white felt scarves and shawls into a wedding ensemble. I asked Marj, what's next?
Every time I come by here, you're doing something different.
I get bored easy. I'm doing one-of-a-kind jewelry pieces for clients, and I am spending time with my handmade glass knob collections. And now I'm focusing on animals, for my glass knobs to look like animals.
And why is that?
Oh, that would be because of Simon.
Let's take a look at Simon.
Simon, my wonder dog. He's a King Charles Cavalier.
Right. And I see that you've done some of those knobs.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're being very well received by the public. People are asking me to do their dogs. I sell them. I sell them all over the world, actually. The web, we can do that these days. Yeah, I teach a lot.
Yeah, tell me about the workshops.
I teach glass bead making, people how to make glass knobs. I have Tuesday nights is open metalsmithing night, teach people how to make anything in silver and gold, and a lot of people string jewelry now, and if they make their own findings, clasps, etc., it raises the quality or perceived value of the piece and that kind of thing. So it's fun. I mean, do what we love, and the money will follow.
For more information on Marj, her products, and her workshops, visit her website at glassthings.com.